Okay, welcome to week 10. This is our review and finish up week. We've done all of the new stuff, so all we have left is to review. We're also on Wednesday going to do the no calculator half of the final, the no calculator test, so that we don't have to do too many problems in the 110 minutes of the actual final exam. So you were supposed to bring questions today. I will spend all day answering your questions. In case you didn't, I just printed out a no calculator practice test and a final exam test, and those will be on the website with answers. So you can have the same ones to talk about as everyone else in the class, but there's nothing otherwise special about the ones I just printed. So with that, let's get to your questions. What problems, questions do people have from homework, from tests? And let's be a little organized. So if people want to do homework questions, let's get those done first. And then we'll do the no calculator test because that's coming up soonest, like next class. And then we'll do the final exam questions towards the end. Yes?
I'm a little baffled by the measurement questions that included a shape that kind of had like pieces.
Okay. Let's save that towards the end though, since that's a final one, unless you have one with homework like that. We have homework ones like that, actually. Let's do that. So let's pick a homework one. Let's do number 6. That's a good one. Okay, so in this homework problem, it's a great example of those take a bite out of shape things. So let's do one. We have a swimming pool, and the diameter of the pool is 30 feet, and there's a sidewalk around it. So I'm going to make one circle for the sidewalk, and then one circle for the pool. And I'm on purpose not making these, that's a terrible circle, to scale so that I can shade things in and it will look a little better. So the pool is 30 feet. Now, when I say diameter, is that the line that's halfway across or the line that's all the way across? Although, what's the name of the little one? Radius. So we're not doing radius, we're doing diameter. And the other thing to think about is, are we wanting area or are we wanting circumference? Which kind of problem is it? It says area, right? Area. So since it says area, I'm going to change my diameters to radiuses, since the area formula uses radii. So if the diameter is 30, then half of that will be 15 feet for this radius. The bigger circle around it also has a radius. What's the area, what's the radius for the bigger green circle? 17. Great. And how did you get that? Yeah, we know that this distance is 2. So if it's 15 to get to the edge of the blue, then it's 2 more to get to the very edge. And I want to find the area that's just the sidewalk. So I'm going to find the area of the whole green circle and then take my blue cookie cutter and stamp out, remove the middle section. Everyone with me? So the area just of my donut is going to be equal to the area of my green circle minus the area of my blue circle. Now, I wrote this with sort of a subscripty kind of thing. I don't care how you write this. I just encourage you that in some way that makes sense to you, start by writing down your plan. Don't have any formulas, don't have any numbers, just what is your plan? I'm starting with this shape, and I'm taking a bite out of it like this. Or I'm taking these shapes and I'm sticking them together, or whatever your plan is for this problem. If you skip that, then you might make a mistake. Like much of the things we've done in class, the setup is often the trickiest part. For my next step, I'm going to take each of these plan elements and put the formulas in. So area is going to be pi times radius. Doesn't matter how many times I have to write this, but everywhere I have something in my plan, I put the formula there. And pick the right formula for the shape, right? You know your different formulas for rectangles and parallelograms. On your third line, plug things in. Whoops, blue, 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 blue. And then the last line, the calculator does all the work. So what is this? Pi times 17 times 7 minus pi times 50. These problems are an excellent end of the year test for how well you've learned to write things on paper. If you line up your equal signs, line up your terms, it should be easy for you to follow and feel confident you're doing things right. If your work is running all over the paper like somebody playing with silly putty, then it's a lot harder to know you're doing. Okay, questions about what's on the board? Should we do another one like this? If your calculator doesn't have a pi key, just go 3.14. Yeah, if your calculator is spitting out answers in pi's, then use 3.14. That works. No one wants another one like this? Should we grab one from the actual practice test? Ah, this is a tricky one. Let's do this one. New slide. Okay, so we have a circle, and then we have a square. And now our shaded area is just this part. And again, forgive my artwork. You are not here to appreciate my artwork. Okay. And the diameter is 35. This is 34. Everyone okay with what we're asking? I'm actually going to move this number 35 down there. You'll see why. Okay, before I dive in, just a tip that whenever you generate a practice final, there's a new one of these. but there's about maybe 10 of them. I don't know. So one thing you could do if you wanted to work the system was before the real final in a week, then try and make just the plan parts for all 10 of them. Which bytes are you taking out of which things are you gluing out? Check with your classmates. For the one that looks like this, what was your plan? Does that make sense? Then at least that part you can be quick and just dive into it when the day of the final comes. Okay, but back to this particular one. So what's my plan for this one? The area of my 4 green corners is going to be what?
Area of the square minus the full area of the circle.
It looks like it's actually the other way around. You start with the big area of the circle, and you're going to take away the area of the square. That makes sense? The problem is, to find the area of the square, I need the side, not the diagonal. I don't know how to find the area of a square based on its diagonal using only Math 20 Math. So since they didn't label the right things, then I can't make such a simple plan. I can't just say take the square and punch it out with my cookie cutter and remove it from the big circle. So I need to be a little more clever than that. How can I find the area that I'm removing if I can't do it all in one shot using my length times width for a square? Turn it into triangles, yes. So if I have this triangle, then I have the base, that's the 35. What's the height of that triangle going to be?
Honestly, 5 on the side of it, 7. I believe that'd be wrong.
With 14 point, or whatever 35 divided by 2 is.
Yeah. So this 35 is the diameter all the way from one edge of the circle to the other. If I'm going halfway, that's just the radius, right? That's half as much. So yeah, 35 divided by 2, so 17.5. So I'm going to take away 2 times the area of my little triangle. Why am I taking away 2 of them? Because I have one of them on top and one of them on bottom. Everyone with me so far? So that's why I put tricky in pink at the top. That it looks like I'm punching out a square. I would love to, it would be less work, but they didn't label the right edge for the square formula. So I have to make do with the triangle formula in a slightly longer way. Okay, that was my first line. So pi times radius is the area of a circle, and 1/2 times base times height is the area of the triangle. Wherever I had an area part in my plan, I just put in the formula. Step 3, put in the numbers. And then the last step, the calculator. And I get about 350. So same as before, you make a plan. If anything tricky happens, it's going to be in that step. Wherever you have a shape, put the formula for that kind of area, plug things in. Stick it back up. Questions on that one? That's as hard as they can get, really. Everyone good? Or asleep? Yeah. I just changed 1/2 into 0.5 for my calculator. Happiness.
Oh, okay.
Because I can put a fraction in my calculator with a CPU or CPU, but I'm old. I'm not used to that. As we mentioned before, if you're new to this, if you haven't done these, there's sort of 3 flavors of number on the board. There's a number like the black 2, which is there because of the picture. I have 2 triangles in my picture, so I need that number 2. Then there's the numbers like the 1/2 or the pi that are part of their formula. They're not part of the picture. They're not something measured. They're just there because the formula has them there. And then there's the numbers like the 17.5 and the 35, where that's the labels on the picture. If I had done exactly the same picture, but labeled it with a different number, then only those would change. Okay, back to homework questions. Any other homework questions people have before we move on away from that?
Can we do the circle radius 6 centimeters, southwest corner removed, what's the perimeter of Pac-Man?
Sure.
Oh, it is number
4.
4.
So I have a circle, and I'm going to make it into quarters, and all I want are 3 of my corners. And the radius is 6 centimeters. Everyone okay with my picture? I've changed the description into a picture accurately. Okay, what is my plan? My area of my Pac-Man is going to be what?
All of that minus a quarter.
I could do the whole circle minus a quarter of the circle. I want to be more efficient than that, though.
To the area of the whole circle
Mhm.
minus.
Subtracting is too much work. I don't want to subtract.
No. Multiply by 0.25.
Almost. It's going to be 3/4, right? 0.75.
Okay.
So if I just have 3/4 of the circle, I'm done. That's easier than finding the whole circle and subtracting away a quarter of the circle, because that's 2 steps. So
You just go for the area and then divide by 4.
you could divide by 4 and then multiply by 3. That would also work. whatever that is, 0.79 about Does this answer seem reasonable? Now, my artwork is limited, but let's look at this a little bit. What's the area of this box? 36. And 6 on the side. So if the whole box there is 36, and I have 2 of these, that's going to be 72. So it's saying that what I actually have shaded in green is a little more than that. It's saying if I was to take this amount here and chop it up into bits, it would fill in this corner and fill in this corner and have a little bit left over. So, yeah, that seems reasonable. If that doesn't make sense to you, don't worry. Okay, other homework questions? Okay, moving on. No calculator test questions. People have Okay, do you want me to do them or are you happy skipping them?
Are we on the one we're doing right now?
Whatever, or ones you practiced or.
Okay, so. All the other ones are doing, I did the 19 over 23%. So now didn't get any of those.
Which number?
It would be number 8.
Number 8. Okay. So go back to so remember this slide with the 4 things to do for percent symbol. If we had 47%,
Okay, so.
then we could write it as 47 divided by 100. We could write it as 47 with 2 scoots.
So it would be 0.19, but then we'd have to do it.
We could write it as 47 over 100, or we could put it over 1 and have it times 1. That ring a bell from a long time
Yeah,
ago?
it does, but.
So this is asking us then, back here.
Yeah. I remember.
If I am changing 19/23% into a decimal, then what would my first step be?
Putting something over.
So it's suggesting
One over, oh, wow.
Wait.
Okay. Now
is
it's all coming
writing
back.
the number with a fraction.
It's all coming back.
So is that the right thing to do? Could be. I would actually give yes to 2 ways to do this. You could do that.
Okay.
That would get you 19 over 2,300. And then change that
No calculator test.
into a decimal and riplop. You could also take the 19 divided by 23 and make that a decimal first. Still with the percent sign on, and then rip off that decimal.
Was it
That makes
easier this way?
You gave us a number. You gave us a number that's like no one's gonna know the times tables too.
No, but that's fine. I'm not asking you to make it. Into a
I'm saying the
decimal.
only way I'm gonna be able to do that is like writing it out.
So,
I'm saying that if you had lots of time, then, right, so here I'm dividing. Oh, and that's not rip off, that's divide. Okay, I might just take that one off the test. I don't like
Please
it. It's
do.
written. Number
I
8.
like those.
Okay, I might just ditch number 8. Let me make a note to myself.
Well, I mean,
then.
on all the other ones that I did, because I did a lot of these this weekend, I didn't have one like that. Yeah, be nice.
Oh, okay, I think that's more confusing than nice. Okay,
Thank you. Because I saw you using your calculator, and it's not supposed to be, you know, if you can't do it as an instructor.
I was just wondering what the percent was, but it's not asking you what it was. It was just asking you the process. But I think it is a little too confusing with
All right,
wording it
we'll
right.
scratch that.
Okay, so don't worry about it. Next one on the no calculator test.
Okay.
Yes.
With the decimal on the top, where you have to have the zero on the bottom.
Okay.
It's number 5 on one of mine.
Number 5. Okay. Let's make one of those. So,
Oh, yeah, those are just a lot of reducing.
Oh, it's not on the.
this one.
No, I know. So you just scoot it over one,
Yeah.
and then you got a 0 on the bottom.
Yeah, it takes a while. So let's look. It's 35 minutes past. Yes, and it might be I'm a nice enough person to reload it until number 5 is not this kind, right? Because it does switch. It does switch back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
But greatest common factor isn't always speedy either. So, okay, so let's see how long it takes us to do this.
All right.
So 75.6 over 162.
Scoot it over one.
Scoot it over 1.
Your turn.
Right. So that's 756 over 1620.
Too long.
So I could divide by something bigger, like 4 or 6 maybe, or I could just keep small and do 2s and 3s. Anyone have a preference?
Got my calculator.
No.
With me at home, I could do it.
You do 2? Okay, if people like 2s, let's just do it a little
I would
bit
do
at a
twos.
time. So 756, then 7. Should I pretend I'm not good at mental math? Just do it this way. So that's going to be 3,
All right.
15.
These two are continuously skipped on. Anything that was like.
So there's 1 reduce. Okay, 378 divided by 2.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I continuously skip these two, so maybe I should have. It does, and I'd probably just leave that to the end.
Okay, there's no more 2s. Is 5 going to go into this one? No.
3 is.
3 is. So when you add them all up.
No.
It's going to be 18.
Yeah.
So actually 9 is going to go into both. I'll even go back and color.
If I have time, then I'll.
The problem's not done yet. You just only did 2 the first time. Now you gotta do 3.
No, that's what.
I'm going to do 9.
That's that.
So I noticed when I added up the digits, I got to 9.
You told us not to take longer than 3 minutes on a problem, so that
Yeah.
would be out the door.
I would be out the door.
And,
I don't,
I'm
I'm
not
going
saying-
slow and it hasn't been that
And you're the math teacher, so.
long. Yeah, but this is just long division.
It's the only way I'll be able to do that problem. I don't know those numbers in my head.
That's what we're getting graded on.
And here, and I'm gonna have to write out each times table too. That's the class work. I'm legit gonna have to write each one out.
Yeah, well then skip this one
As
if
I
you're
do, I
that
don't-
slow.
If it's 6 times, I'll be like 70%. Add it up 6 times, that's what.
Exactly.
Don't
Nine
say
plus
you can't
nine
make
plus
it,
nine
guys.
plus nine.
Okay, so that, you're lost a long time ago. So, okay, well, it rewards you for long division.
He doesn't have 20, it's like, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple that I skipped religiously on these. primary
Okay,
ones.
which one?
A number minus 1, or number 18. and number
18.
19.
18 isn't bad at all, and 19 isn't bad at all.
No,
So
I'm
let's
sure
look
they're
at
not, but
those.
I figured I'd ask you and have
Yeah,
questions.
I did.
And those are the
So
ones
a
that you
number,
skipped. I did really good, and I got 13 right on the test, so I figured, hey, at least I pass it.
yeah, a number minus 1/81st
I figured once you showed me,
equals
I'd probably figure it out.
1/9. You're good at these. I've seen you do them. Okay, so a number minus 189 equals 1/9. We're going to translate things.
Okay?
A number becomes our letter, whatever letter you like, minus becomes minus 181 equals 1/9. Everyone okay with so far? I've just copied it again and translated it. I have something stuck onto y with minus 1/81st. So how do I get y by itself? Add a 1/81st. That will say that y is, and now what I don't want to do is squeeze too much stuff right there, interrupt my flow. So we'll go off to the side a little. What's 1/9 plus 1/81st? Oh, look, whoever wrote this was actually friendly this time. So.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Okay, let me look at that again.
Now, this one I happen to not need to reduce, right? So double check, because sometimes when you do the fraction addition, then you'll have to reduce what you get at the end. But there's nothing in common with 10 and 81.
Okay, so we don't do anything with the 181.
I don't need to, because the denominator was already 81.
Oh, okay. No.
And if we look at the
Okay, so
test,
it's just basically like the common denominator ones.
yeah,
but
it's a common
different.
denominator one.
It's just.
So it's always minus, it doesn't switch around, right? And it's always true that the larger number is a multiple of the smaller number, so you only have to fiddle with one of the two numbers.
Okay.
So it's pretty routine.
What was that? Is that another one?
Is that another one?
149.
Should we do that one too?
Oh, so it's just adding and subtracting.
Yeah, let's have someone else do this other than me. Somebody want to come do one on the board? You, okay.
Okay, so, okay.
All right, let's see what we got. We have a number. I apologize if my handwriting is a little.
I got it. It's just really funny.
As always.
It's not like it's a matter of-
Hope you guys can make that out. Let me know if it's unreadable.
That's
Jeez Louise.
Back to the old day.
Um, Trying to.
Do you like pictures? Those are, you like, these are nicely done photos and nice. So you can have. Someone got that.
All right, so,
Let me hold this up into a cautionary tale. This works fine in Math 20. What's missing from this scratch work? You keep going.
all right, so basically,
Doesn't she have it all?
The things below it.
Equal sign. No equal sign. on this whole page.
first,
Math 20, you can get by without them,
all right,
but in Math
if you guys can read that.
You won't knock him
So
down.
basically, we need to do the opposite of what we're being asked to do here.
I should work on.
So if you're going to 60,
So
then we're gonna have
probably be, and then 1, 2, plus 1, 7, and then we go plus 1, 7, pretty much canceling that
No,
out.
almost. Let me fix it. So here, if I have a minus 149, what I need to add back on is the 149 to get rid of that. Because my whole goal is to have these things cancel out.
Okay,
Okay.
my bad. All right, so now we have to correct. So basically, we'll side venture here. Now, this is an easy one to figure out because 7 times 7 is 49.
And you're not quite done. It's not 1 plus 1.
And you have to.
Oh,
What goes
yeah.
up here? There you go.
Yeah,
It is hard when you're at the board to concentrate.
yeah, I'll say.
I looked at it. and I was
Yeah, I'm not. And then I really don't think there's anything to simplify
That's it.
here.
49. Great job, thank you. Yay, okay. If you haven't done that.
I have not.
Okay. Yay, okay, next question, no calculator test. Oh, we had one more already I have to do, so the
Okay,
bottom one, the bottom
Then
one.
about- And are you gonna do those purchase skim ones? Because they were on most, all of my no calculator.
Partial credit one, yes, you can get.
No, the 1/8, the one that was usually in the middle of the, here, look at this.
Oh, no, I don't have that.
You're not going to? Oh, thank
Probably
you.
not.
Because I skipped that one every time. This one.
The Doctor Who scarf one, that's another problem that's just awkward to ask.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, a barrel has 21 gallons of water. What's the number of this line?
Oh. I lost no calculator.
Yeah.
I printed up like 6 of them.
Okay, so a barrel is 21 gallons of water when it's 3/4 full. This one is a good one to do with pictures. I'm going to do it in pictures. I can also do it with an equation. So for people who hate pictures, I will do it that way also. So here's my barrel. And I want to make it 3/4 full. Everyone okay with my artwork so far? If I have 21 gallons, total of green slime. Then how much is each of my quarters? 7. Everyone okay so far? So then, if I was to fill it up all the way, how much would the last bit be? Another 7, because those are quarters. They're all the same size. So if I added them all together, 4 7s is 28 gallons.
Okay,
So I started by shading in the green. I made quarters, and I shaded in 3 of them.
okay.
If the total of the 3 is 21, then each of them has to be a third of the 21.
Okay.
Then I put in the missing quarter and added. If I liked equations, I could say that 3/4 of what is 21. Then when I translate that, I would get the same answer. So you can do it either way. Okay, question? 12?
Yeah.
Sure. The one I'm copying and pasting is the opposite direction. I can do the one that I have passed out to, but let's do this one, which is easy for me to copy and paste. Okay, I am changing between not standard, SI units, right? Metric units. So whatever your acronym is, so King Henry, what? Dies.
Because drinking chocolate.
Isn't it? Drinking chocolate.
Yeah, because
Drinking chocolate milk
I've never heard that.
and then XX.
and then micro.
What's the B?
So yeah, I'm used to using U for units. So U being for units, unit. What's B for? Like base or something? What's
Yeah, I don't know, that's what Steve taught us.
okay? Well, we can do it his way too.
Yeah, no, we did unit. B, I said I.
Oh,
I don't know, whatever. Okay. I like the killer hobos dance under dazzling crystal mobiles, but whatever it is you memorize, then write that out. Okay, we are going from kilograms to grams. So I start at kilo. I'm going to the base unit, whatever that is. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I get 274, 6, 7. However you scoot on the letters, do the same thing to your decimal place. Let's do another one. So once again, KHD micro. Now I'm going 44.591 liters is how many milliliters? So liters is my basic unit.
Meters.
I'm starting at liters and going to milliliters. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so 4, 4. Hang on.
So it always goes from the top,
You start where the decimal point starts.
right? Okay, then question. This one has a, this one has a comma.
Let's find one of them. That means where's the decimal point if there actually doesn't look like there's a decimal point?
It-
I'm not getting
Is
a
that
big
the end?
number.
or-
I think you're doing 11. Let's do 11 then.
It is,
So same thing.
but it's a different question. So it would be over. So would you start at the end?
So I'm starting at grams. Right?
Yeah.
Grams is my basic thing.
Three over.
And I'm going to kilograms. 1, 2, 3. I should get some random example that's not a 3, but anyway. And so I take my decimal point.
It's gonna be at the end.
It's gonna
and
be
then
at the
it'll
end.
Right where the comma
Yes, it will go to where the comma is.
is. Okay, so if you don't have a decimal point, you start at the end of
Right.
it. Okay,
So
and if you have a decimal point, you start at the decimal. And make sure we label it.
okay, question.
I want to turn questions into decimal.
Which one? 6. Okay. That's because earlier you said you hated long division. Okay, so if I have 3/12, first I reduce.
Oh, that was a 12 and not a 14.
Whoops, it was a 12. I don't want to do division with bigger numbers if I can avoid it. Then this one, maybe you just know it, but let's pretend you don't. So I would say, how many times does 4 go into 1? It doesn't. So I need to make a decimal point.
I don't like this one. I like these ones should
It
be
kind
on
of
it.
feels like we're just pulling numbers.
So I get 0.25. Hopefully you know a quarter is 0.25, but if you didn't, there's your process.
Okay, so you're gonna.
Should we do another one? Maybe
Yes.
one that's not as recognizable.
I feel like all the other ones you gave us, and there's no cat.
So 5/25. First, I'll reduce it.
Okay.
Get to 1/5. Maybe you know that. If you don't know what decimal that is, then go off to the side.
And then you.
So 2 times 5 is 10, and I'm done. So 0.2.
Oh, so you just bring the 10 down. So that you add a 0 on it. Okay.
Right. After, since the 1 didn't work, then I had to put in the decimal point and the 0 to keep things going off to the side. Is that making you happier?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little more clear to people now.
And it should be always true that, again, your teacher is not routinely a monster, and most of these reduce nicely. 9/144. What kind of terrible thing is that? What am I going to divide top and bottom by? Nine. The sum of the digits of the bottom is 9, so 9 goes into that. So I'm going to get 1 over something, How much does 9 go into 144? So 1. So that was that step. Now I have to do the harder long division. Does 16 go into 1? No. So does it go into 10? No. Does it go into 100? Sure. So 4 quarters fit $1. So it goes in at least 4 times. 5 times 20 is 100. So 5 20s fit, so 5 19s will fit. So I'm going to guess 5. Let's see how that is. Whoop. Or 16s, I'm talking about. So 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5, 80. Nope, I could have gotten bigger. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 6, 7, 8, 9.
I don't want to make my kid look like this. Decision.
The right more nicely. Oh, what am I doing? That's 170. That's what I'm. No, that's just 70. Okay. So that goes down. 16 goes into 70. 2 16s is 32. So 4 will work. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6. No. No, 6. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 2 more is 6. So 60. Is this going to end quickly? That should be a 2. No, I'm making a mistake. That's why it's seeming wrong. What am I doing wrong? 6. Ah, that's a 6.
Our grandkids and great grandkids.
This is why we don't do long division. It's too easy to make mistakes. That's a 96. So that's 40.
Exactly.
32.
That's not 20, like, first grade,
And then 5. 80. There we go. So the worst it could be is that. Okay. Anyway, back to a more pleasant one that I would actually give you. Any other no calculator questions? Okay, questions on the other final? Yeah. 15. Write it as a mixed number. Okay. Let me get a slightly harder one. So this is only a reducing question in disguise. I'm going to write it as 22 and 32 hundredths, just by saying it out loud. And I want to be done. It looks like a mixed number, but I'm not done.
You can reduce that.
Because I can reduce the fraction part, and I always have to reduce fraction parts. So 22 and 8 25ths, 8 and 25. Now I'm done.
So 8.
So number 15 is really easy. The whole number part stays up front. Whatever comes after the decimal, write it over 10 or 100 or whatever it's supposed to be. And then reduce it if you need.
Okay.
Could we do 14? Sure.
Oh. I think we did it.
We need a common denominator. It is 20. How did you find that out?
And they all
She's done a lot of homework, even if she says she hasn't. So if you're not sure, then you could either make lists, 2, 4, and so on, and just find the smallest one on each list that matches. Or you could do the factor tree business. So with 2, that's just 2 and 1, we're done. With 4, that's 2 and 2. And with 5, that's just a 5, so we're done. Then I'm going to say, where were there common numbers on more than one tree? So there's a common number on more than one tree. And every time there's a number that's common to more than one tree, I cross out one of them. And I leave the other one around. Then I multiply everything. 2 times 2 times 5, that's left. I want another color. So 2 and 2 and 5 gives me 20. So if you can't look at them yet and see the 20 because you haven't done enough of these as practice, then that's our system. Write the factor trees. Whenever a number is in more than one tree, get rid of one copy of it only. Okay, how do I get to 20? Well, I need a times 10, top and bottom here, times 5 here, and a times 4 here. So that gives me 20 plus 15 plus 28 20ths. So that will be 48, 58, 53, 63, 20th. Did my mental math work? Okay, can I reduce 63 20ths? No. I need something either even or of the 5, so I'm done. Other questions?
16.
You're gonna send this
16,
on the
sure.
test that we got today.
Now this one, I'm about to hit paste and my exponents are gonna go garbagey. So I have to remember that this one is 3 squared and this one is 2
Probably should
cubed.
never been invented.
I just want to. If I have time, then I will.
So I'm gonna recopy it, and when I'm recopying it, I'm gonna take my 3 squared and make it 9, my 2 cubed and make it 8. Everyone okay with those 2 substitutions? 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Okay, I need to do a 28 times 6. Ugh. So 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 2 is 12, so 16. So I have 5 times 6 plus 168. So this was one term. That was a term. One term here, one term there. They're not changing at all, right? Let's look at the last term. 81 divided by 9 becomes how much?
81 divided by 9.
Yeah. This is a reward for knowing your times tables.
9.
9, right?
I thought
So
It's 72.
for my second step, I've done two things. The simple terms, I'm just letting them drag along. Who cares about that? 28 times 6, I replaced with what it is. 81 divided by 9. I replaced by what it is. So 5 times, now 6 plus that, that's going to be 174. Again, these middle terms are just boring. And the last term, 9 times 8, 72. So I need one more thing, 5 times 174. 27. Okay, so 870 plus 11 minus 7, that's going to be a total of plus 4. So I have 874. And then another 72 will be 946. If that's too much in your head, then we could do more stuff. 874, 72. So, yeah, it takes longer than most of the others, but there's not that much to do. And there's no long division. So if you don't like long division, this one is for you.
Looking at the triangle.
Okay. Should we move on to final exam questions?
I'm not gonna work on that till after Wednesday.
Okay.
Then that way.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel- I
one-
feel like I'll
one
have
at a
too much in
time.
my
One at a
brain,
time.
and then I
One
make this
fall
all-
at a time.
A lot of them are similar.
Yeah, but I figure if I focus on that, then.
Okay, yes. Well, on the square root of 784, you just use your calculator on that. That's a freebie.
Oh, did I say calculator for you?
On the actual final, so number 12, it asks a square root, but you have your calculator. That's the whole point of getting the no calc done. So
I know how that.
that's just a
That way
freebie
we'll
thing to see if you were awake.
Do the final on these.
Yes, the whole point of the struggle on Wednesday is so that after that you get your calculator on everything and life is happier. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording then if we're done.
Thank you.